Welcome to our growth series presented by Prime. This session is focusing on refining business strategy, and it is part one of the acceleration module. My name is Jasmita Saini, and I'm a program director here at Lehigh University Small Business Development Center. So first, let's understand what is the acceleration phase for a small business. This can also be referred to as the ramp-up phase, the stage where a business owner is transitioning from being a startup to being a more established business. We expect you to have at least 1 year of tax returns, preferably two. And if you're going to apply for financing and so forth, a lender may request 3 years of tax returns. You are profitable with healthy cash flows. And healthy is a relative term. At minimum, it could be that you are breaking even and not experiencing losses, but it could also mean that you're earning enough to pay yourself. You have an established customer base and your business, you are working on refining your business's strategy and preparing for growth. So other modules to check out in this stage are your business in review, financial foundations, and marketing foundations and digital presence. So let's first talk about what your business strategy is. Our goal with these modules and the series in general is to introduce you to the concept and provide you some of the tools so you can continue working on your own with your employees, your partners, or your SBDC consultant. And what we're trying to ask is, have you worked out the startup pains? Do you have an established customer base already? And do you have sufficient staffing to continue on your journey, or are you a team of one? Are your cash flows trending positively? And of course, the biggest question we're trying to ask is, do you have a product or have you refined your business strategy? So your product and service is essentially what you sell. So it could be something that someone is buying off of your website, they're hiring you for your time, or they're picking up a product from your store. The business strategy is all the components that are going to make that sale possible. And they can include, but are not limited to, the materials, which is the input, design and development, marketing, delivery, distribution, your employees, customer service, financial management, your growth plans, and some of your challenges. So this is all internal to your business. And then external things that can influence your business strategy are going to be things that are facing out, such as market research, your market trends, or anything with your customer base and their buying patterns. So the way we're going to help you organize and understand your business strategy is going to be through what we call your unique value proposition. So we're all on the same page. A unique value proposition is a clear statement that explains the benefits of your product, how it solves customers' problems or meet their needs, why it is different from the rest, and why your customers should buy it. So we have highlighted underlined each of the parts that are going to be beneficial to this conversation. So the product and service, the benefits, the differentiation, and then the reason or the call to action for why your customer base should purchase this. In order to put this into practice, you're going to work on something called an elevator pitch. So, what is an elevator pitch? So, think about it. Think about it as something that you would present to your ideal client or a potential partner in a very short amount of time. The idea is, if you are in an elevator, can you capture their attention and move your audience to act? So in order to do so or have a successful elevator pitch, you would start with the hook. You would need to understand who the target audience is, what problem you're trying to solve for them, and what benefits your product and your service is going to provide, and of course, how it's going to be different than your competitors. So this is how the unique value proposition turns into your elevator pitch. So you can go ahead and practice this now. Can you describe everything, let's say in 60 or so seconds? When you're practicing it, start with your product or service and what your company name is. And then this is just a quick recap of what you're trying to accomplish. So now is a good time to hit the pause button. Try writing out an elevator pitch and framing it in the form of your value proposition and seeing how that sounds for you. You might realize that you need different elevator pitches for your different product lines, or you might have different types of customers that will respond to these needs differently. So this is where you would take time to practice. And now we're going to take a look at the pitch that you came up with, and you can use your own company to apply these concepts. And what I will do is I will use a local grocery chain that offers a pickup and delivery services as the example while we're working through this kind of pitch process. So first and foremost, when you were doing this exercise, did you feel like you fully understood your product and your service offering? Do you happen to have a menu? Is there a rate card? Or can you quickly explain everything that you're offering? So we're all on the same page. We also want you to focus on what the features and the resulting benefits are. And then also don't overlook any of the intangible benefits of your product and service and your company. So a feature is a specific attribute or capabilities of the product or service. It could be physical, it could be intangible, it could be implied, but it is something that your product or service does. And then the benefits are the value your customers receive from it, or the advantages that they will gain when they use your product or service. So, for example, the grocery store is a place for you to buy your essentials, your produce items, meats, dairy, beverages, snacks, really anything you can find in a typical grocery store. Based on size, it might carry household products, some seasonal decor, and so forth. And this particular store in our example offers online ordering for pickup, and it also offers delivery services. So it has that click to pick option as well as getting delivery through the grocery store directly. And the benefit is because it carries so many products and it has those three methods to shop of coming into the store, click and pick, or delivery, it offers a lot of convenience and ease of access for all kinds of customers. So, who are the customers for your business, and then who are the customers for our case study? It's a trick question because the answer cannot be everyone. Because while you are not going to turn anyone away from your store or your website or from reaching out to you, you cannot be everything to every single person. What we're going to talk about a little bit today, and more so in the marketing modules, is that customers have different needs and different requirements. So you might get lost in trying to serve every single person. So when we're talking about target market, we want you to focus on um, the customer base or the customer segment that is going to bring you more profitability. And it's a way for you to really prioritize how you're going to spend your marketing dollars, your time, and your effort, and most importantly, your staff's effort as well. So now that it can't be everyone, these are some ways you can start organizing your customer base. You can do it by age, by gender, by income level, by education level, race and ethnicity, geographic location, and you can also refer to them as your segment, your target market, or customer tier. This is a very basic list for you to get started. As you do more research and you look into this further, you might decide that there are other characteristics that you want to divide your target market by. So, for example, how frequently they purchase or how much they spend with you at each purchase. And we can also cover that in the marketing module, and you are welcome to discuss this with your SBDC consultant. So, continuing with the example of the grocery store, it's important to keep in mind that you can have several types of target markets or several types of customers, even though you're still offering one type of product or service. So for grocery stores, the first target market or the first customer segment could be time-strapped parents who rely on the convenience and ease of the click-to-pick grocery shopping option. They could also be reaching out to customers who are homebound individuals or those without reliable transportation. So those customers are relying on the grocery store delivery services. And the third one could be urban residents who have varied work schedules, may or may not have a car, or may find it to shop during for groceries during the day. So the grocery store might modify its click to ship, its delivery schedule, its operating hours to meet all of these customers in an effective manner without really changing too much of the inventory and products that they stock. So, other considerations when you're reviewing your target market, who has been an ideal customer for you and why? So, this is where you would look back into what you've done over the last couple of years. Are you are there any underserved communities that maybe you're not targeting, such as a rural community? And do you have options to partner with another service who could help you reach a broader target market? And then the next part of that unique value proposition and that elevator pitch, if you remember, was actually the competitors. So, similarly, just like we say, who are your customers? We're going to ask you to consider who are your competitors. And the answer cannot be no one because every business will have competitors, whether they are direct competitors, indirect competitors, substitutes, or replacements for your product or service. And you have to keep in mind that just because you have a similar product, it does not mean that you are actually competing for the same kinds of customers. So consider your customer segments when you're taking a look at your competitor. With each of these competitors, are you competing on price, on the service experience, the expertise, and longevity in your industry, or is there something else that sets you apart from this particular competitor? So to better illustrate this example, for my grocery store, where I'm offering click to ship and delivery and in-store shopping, some of my direct competitors are going to be places like ShopRite, Giant, and Safeway, which have similar product offerings, similar operating hours, and they offer the same delivery and distribution methods. My indirect competitors, however, are going to be a service like Instacart, um, Amazon Fresh, Thrive, Misfits Market, or any of those online grocery delivery services because while they are not a direct grocery store, they are a platform that allows my customers to get their same needs met in just a different format. Just for this example, everything is at home delivery. However, another substitute could be that my customers tend to go to farmers markets for a lot of their needs now. They might visit specialty shops, they might go to gourmet stores, or some people have cut out regular grocery shopping and they prefer to get meal delivery kits. They might dine out, they could be growing their own food, or they could be relying on community gardens. So when you're framing your competitors, keep in mind that your customers are still getting their needs met. It's just a matter of where those competitors fall into place. So, what else, if anything, is missing when you're doing your elevator pitch if you take a look at your competitors? Is there something that your competitors are not touching on that you could? And as a reminder, similar products does not mean that you're going to have the same kinds of customers. So, one example, if we continue with the grocery store, is not all grocery stores are considered the same type of store. For example, a ShopRite cannot necessarily compete against an Erewhon or Whole Foods or a Harris Teeter, which are considered more premium grocery stores. And a ShopRite may not be competing with, let's say, a Dollar Tree or a Dollar General or one of those price value stores that focus on price versus variety. To continue this example, a local pizza shop has a different set of customers than, let's say, a Domino's or a Pizza Hut or a Papa John's. Even though they're both offering pizza, they have different connections to the community. So now you've reviewed your product and service, you've outlined the features and benefits, you've reviewed who your customer base is, and you've also taken a look at your competitors. How do you bring it all back together? So you need to take stocks of your answer for each section of that unique value proposition and now write it again. Do you need to update your value proposition, or will you now have a different UVP for your different customer segments? Are there still things that you need to refine and you still need to review? Would this be a good place to bring in your SBDC consultant? And now take a look at the rest of the way your business functions. So take a look at your marketing messages, take a look at what your website looks like, your customer service teams, your pricing, your staff. Do they all understand your unique value proposition the way you do? Or is it worth revisiting each of these business functions to help everyone get on the same page? And as you continue this process, make sure you are getting feedback from your business partners, your staff, and if possible, feedback from selected customers who are loyal to your company and you can trust them with this kind of exercise. So for round two, go ahead and write that elevator pitch again, and then also present it to your team, partners, and SBDC consultant to get feedback. And I do hope you join us for the rest of the modules. So thank you for your time today. And if you have a consultant, you are welcome to reach out to them. And if you are unsure of who your consultant is, you can go over to americassbdc.org, find your SBDC, and get connected with your local center. If you would like to get in touch with us over at Lehigh, this is where we can be found. And I hope to see you in the next one.